call the meeting to order. And good evening again. First, I want to have the approval of the July 16th special club minutes. Can I get a motion, please? Motion. Can I get a second? All in favor? Thank you. So approved. We're going to now swivel to our CFO, Ron Marcucci. You know what, Ron? We're going to give you a nice round of applause today. Just to liven things up a bit here tonight.
Keep me awake. Well, welcome back after a couple of months. The club has continued in its good operating form as it did before we took the summer break. Some of our departments are still seeing some challenges, and other ones are compensating for that. But through the month of July, year-to-date profits are $487,000 versus a budget of $472, so we're $14,000 ahead of budget. I would like to tell you that in addition, in the month of August, we beat budget by $4,000, so now we're $18,000 ahead of budget. But more importantly, if you look here, in last year at this time in July, we had a loss of $63,000. As of August last year, we had a loss of $142,000. So we are doing significantly better than we did last year. And thank you all for your support and continued support and coming to the dining rooms and all our events, using the golf course, fitness center, and everything. We appreciate it. Our capital budgets, our capital reserves are good and strong, and we're moving forward. We're being very cautious on any capital spending. We just went over it with the Finance Committee this week and also with the board recently. Michael Gibson, your general manager, is personally approving all budgets and projects going forth, so we're watching our money and keeping it safeguarded. And that is it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, let's do delinquencies.
You're back on
delinquencies, we've worked very hard, and this board has been very supportive on us. Our driving force is to get these vacant buildings and the non-payers to get their homes into the hands of people who want to live here. And that is, we're seeing a significant uptick in investors who want to be part of our building program. As you can see, in January of 2018, we had 3. We now at July have 10 homes in the builder program up there on top. But from a non-performing standpoint, we've cut that number in half since January 1, 2018. In December, we had 27. We're now down to 14. And as we sit today, we're down to 13. So we're working very hard to get them done and get people paying, collect the cash, and keep this club running. So, but we still, I'm happy to, report we got, 53 homes for sale now, so we're down from 60-some, so we're seeing movement, but we still have a number of people out there with their homes for sale and everything, so we're still working hard to keep that number at 13 or below as we go into year end.
If I could could you put that slide back a second, please? Thank you. Just a quick comment on this. I know Ron went over it quickly, but I really would like everybody to absorb the fact. First of all, we said we wanted builders a year and a half ago, and it's nice to say it, but now we have them. We have 6 builders taking our properties and renovating them and making them better, and hopefully selling them and having a new, fresh property in the community. And secondarily, we had 27 people in the community that were not paying their bills. And through Ron's efforts, he's worked diligently. Barbara's been involved. I've been a little involved as far as really spending the time and the energy and the effort in working with banks, working with individuals, working with attorneys. Those numbers just don't happen in a moment. So I wanted you guys to know that at the end of the day, what it's helping is you don't have to pay as much of your dues for the people that haven't been paying. It's a positive for all of us. So I wanted to commend you, Ron. Thank you very much for those efforts. And I wanted the membership to know that we're moving in a real positive direction. Thank you. And And now we have our general manager report.
Thanks, Randy. As Ron mentioned, we believe that good things are happening at the club. Certainly on the budgetary side, we feel very confident that we will do well through the rest of the year. I think the first slide is non-resident members that have helped us tremendously. We currently are at 43. This is a time of year that we usually see movement from this. We hope we see movement on the positive side rather than the negative side, and we have a marketing program that Jen Jolly is working on to help build this number. The goals, as you can see, we're hit the budget. We just mentioned that. And the next one is sports and wellness. We had a lengthy meeting this morning with our designers are in town. We're excited to have them here. We met most of the day with them. We shifted them over to Meisner Country Club this afternoon to take a look at the impressive work that they have done at Meisner Country Club. So currently under construction that will open next week. Meisner will open a 41,000 square foot new building that they have put up. It was a $22 million project. Addison Reserve will open on Monday, which was a $25 million project. It was 31,000 square feet. Both those projects were designed by our architect, and we are also, since inception of this program, we've been looking at Glen Eagles, which was also designed by our architects. Both Glen Eagles and Addison Reserve used the same owner's rep that we use, the Gaudet brothers, and we are working extremely hard to make sure our numbers are coming in line as we compare to what other clubs are doing. Obviously, we have a 14,000 square foot building. They have much larger space, so it's not that easy to compare, but we're drilling down in every line item to evaluate what they spent versus what we plan on spending. We have 4 weeks before we go to permit with our drawings. We have 100% design and development drawings that have been issued, and what does that mean to us? Interesting enough, when we first priced this out to AMC, they used 10 pages of information to get our pricing estimates. Currently, they're using 250 pages. So you can see the amount of detail that goes into trying to drill down to get more accurate numbers, and that's very important. Those numbers are due to us by the 27th of this month, so we're very close to having a better understanding about our thought process on what our original estimates were back when we put this to vote versus what they're going to be coming up. And we feel very good about that. So hopefully we'll move forward in the right direction. Golf sustainability, as everyone knows, a vote passed recently for the $8,000 for all golf members. We appreciate your support. We have had a number of social members, which now we call sports members, that have played golf. Our golf department is doing some informational programming for social members so that they know a little bit more about what's going on, what to expect out on the golf course, kind of like an orientation, and we hope for any sports members that they do evaluate that going forward. Delinquencies Ron talked about. We have worked very hard on this. Certainly Ron has spent a lot of time on this. We feel like we're making a difference here. The difference really comes down to our futuristic programs with our builder program and trying to creep up that number, which we've used for the last year in particular, 413 active dues paying members. When we come to you and say we have been successful, that number would have creeped up. And that's a difficult number for us because sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. It went way up when we settled some lawsuits and we started collecting dues from banks. And then it dipped a little bit because some of those banks sold those homes to builders, which is great for us futuristically, but it nips us a little bit as we look at our budget process. So this is really important for us. Les Jardins certainly is an area that we feel better about than we have in the past. But interesting enough, we do have our challenges at Les Jardins with one building having 10 units that are non-performing and another building having 7 units that are non-performing. For the first time ever, we have been approached by an investor that is interested in investing in remodeling those units. So far, that investor has bought 2, is in the process of renovation. As you know, we have had 4 and we renovated 2. We sold 2. We had a closing this summer on 1, and we have 1 that's in the middle of renovation that's under contract and it will close in October, and that is moving quite well. So we feel good about that program, and we hope to be able to report even better progress as we begin to try to turn the tide on Les Jardins. That's it, Randy.
Michael, I want to thank you for presenting my report. You did a great job. I appreciate it. But I don't feel any differently. I do feel that when Michael went over those 5 goals that the board has this year, the reality is we're on the money on each one. From hitting the budget each month to making sure that our wellness and sports center is going to start on time and on budget. We accomplished the golf sustainability. That's, it's 2 words, but it was a mountain of work, a mountain of effort, and I think it's making our community better. The delinquencies are absolutely better than they've ever been in the last 3 years. And even though we have great challenges in the apartments, we have starting to get a little momentum. And so I think from the board's perspective, we set out on those 5 goals, and we've been maniacally focused on each one, along working with management, and we feel very, very good about the fact that we have not strayed to other things. We've kept on that, and we want to hit the money on each one, and hopefully by the end of the year, our term this year, that we will have, in essence, we've delivered on each what we promised in the beginning of the year. That's been the goal. So I want to let you guys know that. April 20th, shovel in the ground. You're going to visit me on the 21st. I know that. I know. Okay. Oh, we have questions. Yes. Could we have a microphone for the questions, please? Yeah, well, you do, because we can't hear you. You don't need the mic. We need the mic.
Oh.
It's not what you need. Right.
Okay, my basic question is, we have buildable plans with specs? Is that what you said? I didn't quite get it. Do we have specs for the plans? Specifications for the plans?
Sure, we have design and development drawings.
Now, builders spec plans, so the builder, whoever we hire, could bid on it.
Yeah, we haven't bid out yet, if that's what you're asking.
Aren't we bidding? We're not bidding it out?
Of course we are.
And we might consider the gentleman who satisfactorily did the Addison. Are we giving him an opportunity to bid?
We're going to be bidding out everything, Mrs. Trachtenberg, so I'm not sure what your question is.
I think I would feel comfortable. We all would, and our legacy would be wonderful if we at least bid it out with 3 different qualified builders, and we took insurance on them, because we've been in a very difficult position in the past. We really are, our legacy has not been great, our track record has not been great, but I have confidence this time it will be, because we have to learn from our errors. And speaking of errors and omissions insurance, I hope we're considering that. Gentlemen, I appreciate everything that you're doing.
Okay, so let me try to address your questions, okay? We are bidding it out. We know all of the different vendors from all of the different clubs. Michael's mentioned to you that we are even using some of them today, like a Leo Daly, who's done 3 of the 4 recent clubs in the area. The builders, we know all of them. We have a reasonable sense of how those clubs are doing, because Michael has very, very good relationships with each one of the general managers. So we have a sense of who's doing well, and not everyone's doing well, and some are.
Okay, and
we kind of got the inside scoop, and I guess you're going to have to, at some sense, you're going to have to trust us too, Mrs. Trapper.
Randy, you sound as though you have it under control, and Reassurance would be a very capable project manager.
We have an owner's representative who is our project manager. He meets with us 3 times a week, Michael, maybe 4. I've talked to him on a regular basis. He's in every single meeting.
Randy, what is his track record in the past?
He's worked on all the different clubs that we just mentioned. He's been as Michael mentioned initially, Joe Gaudet.
And it's been very satisfactory, I hope?
I think it's been good to very good.
Okay, well, listen.
So we're kind of on it in that sense. Excuse
We're in
me.
his capable hands.
Yes. But good questions, and I thank you. Hi.
Are the plans available to be seen by? Are the plans available to be seen by the members of the club?
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll give you a presentation. Once we're finished, give you a little sense of it. We're still, like today, we were working on the flooring and the coloring and the design. I mean, there's a lot of, this is like building a big structure, even though it's only 14,000 square feet. So once we're further along, we'll be happy to give you a sense of where we are. But what we're not going to do is have a design by membership and committee, because it'll never happen. So, but we will absolutely let you know what's happening. But I can assure you that we are. It's going to be very tasteful. You know what the look and feel of the outside of the building is from the film that we produced, the video we produced, and we are making great strides. Steve Sage has done a great job on the committee, really drilling down on all the details to make it not only beautiful but functional for our members. It's going to be 16 months.
From April 20. From April 20, 2020.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yeah. Upstairs. No, you're talking about the when we're building. Ah, okay, that's a different discussion. We've had many discussions on this subject. It's been one of the most pleasant things I've had to work with in the last 6 months, and I'm still alive to talk about it, so that's the good news. And at one time we were contemplating. Well, first of all, let me start by saying, the fitness center, as we see it today, is going to be relocated to this building. Okay? So let's start there. That's happening. And that is no different than every other club, Michael, is it fair to say?
A number of clubs.
Yeah, many clubs have moved it into their main area so that the membership doesn't have to travel, doesn't have to relocate themselves, and financially it's better off for us. So we originally, at one point in time, were going to have it in the Grove Room, and then we did an analysis from the standpoint of where the members like to eat, where we get more of our revenue. We went back and forth, and this is, there's no right or wrong on this thing. It's what we're going with, some data, some on the street knowledge, on the ground knowledge, but the reality is what we've ended up doing as of today is we're going to be putting the actual equipment in the sports bar. So the sports bar is going to be, in essence, the gym and the West Wing, and then this room will be available for dining, and that room will be available for dining. We will make 42% of the people happy with that decision. Another 42% will be very upset, and the other 8% have no idea what's going on. Yes. 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 we have. It was $265,000 to do a myriad of things. So when you get into trailers, you say, well, how many trailers do you need? How do they look? Well, we went through we went down the entire road. Oh, Mr. CFO, would you?
Also,
Oh, don't worry, Mrs. Trachtenberg, that's what I live for. We are value engineering the hell out of that thing.
Ron wanted to say something about that.
Yes.
also remember when you're doing,
But we have one more statement.
comment. Now with the new accounting rules, any temporary locations that you have to rent or rent trailers goes into operating. So that $260,000 would go into your dues number and would have to be paid by the membership.
Oh, okay, that got your attention. Okay, but we appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. What do you mean, the outside members are you talking about? Will they participate in the gym because we moved the gym? Is that what you're asking? I would promise you that of the 43 people here, 42 of them are here for golf. The other person, I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Larry.
Thank you for all you guys are doing. A couple of questions. Chuck, you talked about the visit today to Meisner.
He's not Chuck. He ain't Chuck.
We
Thanks,
love you,
Larry.
Chuck.
Welcome,
Thanks,
welcome
Michael.
back. It's 2019, just in case a few.
It was so easy. Michael, so you were just at Meisner.
Yes.
Can you give us an idea of how it compares in terms of membership at Meisner? The size, I think you said 22,000, we're doing 15. How many member families do they have versus what we have?
Okay, if you don't mind, I'll handle that, Larry. Okay, so they have 475 residences. It was a Toll Brothers community built like about 16 years ago. You know, it's a newer, much newer than our community. Golf course, for those of you who play golf, is fair at best. Arnold Palmer design. Ours is dramatically better. Much younger community. Average age 58. Let me repeat that. Average age 58, and that's just what it is.
Right. What's ours?
I think 71. And they built a 41,000 square foot monstrosity coupled to their 42,000 square foot clubhouse. So we're like, I mean, and this thing, it goes on forever. We visited every single inch of it. Steve was there. I mean, it's crazy. Is it nice? It's nice. I mean, the outside of the building, I would say, is ho-hum. When you go inside, it's nice. It's got, I mean, more rooms than a hotel. But that's what they feel their membership wants. They got a big windfall from GL Homes, who they had a piece of their property that GL bought gave them a $6 million gift that helped them. But at the end of the day, that's it. I think I answered your question. I think.
It answered that question.
Okay.
In terms of the numbers. Just wanting to be sure that we do what we should be doing in building a facility that's the appropriate size. After you guys have toured other clubs, wanted to make sure that you came down on the right side of this with us, with the vote, with the dollars we're spending, with the size, and that we're going to be okay.
I can promise you that we are not only going to be, we're going to be better than okay.
Awesome.
It's going to be a beautiful facility that all of you will be very proud to not only participate in yourself, but bring your guests, dine there, swim there. Mrs. Trachtenberg, I look forward to seeing you through the dining room there. And it is going to be a really, really, I mean to say sincerely, it's going to be a real class facility that's going to be suiting our membership to a T.
Great. Thank you for that. And my second question is, being part of the concern, not in the 42% that we shouldn't do it, just in that there is an opportunity, as you may or may not know, there's 3,000 feet as soon as
Yes.
we go out, the building on the
Yes.
side, the new building, that is available. So expressed as the concern of some of the members
Okay.
of losing that space for 16 months. I'm sure you guys have,
Yes, oh.
have gone through this,
Yes.
but there is a 3,000-foot space right there that is available for your consideration.
Larry, I appreciate how you said that. Thank you, as opposed to charging the front room here and screaming and yelling at us. We are aware. We had spent a lot of time today on that, and what that is for the rest of the folks. There's the 42% that are not happy that we're having the gym facilities in this room. Want us to go off campus and rent something and on and on and on and on. And we weighed all that stuff. I can only say to you that there's one thing that we haven't announced to the membership yet, because we can't, based on some final contractual discussions we're having, but we are going to have an enhancement to what we're offering the membership, in addition to having it, moved over to the gymnasium and to the sports bar, that there's going to be another wrinkle. I apologize for being cryptic, that I think will help. I think people will feel good about, and there's no charge for it. So you have to just stay tuned for that. We should be able to, I think within the next meeting, definitely, we'll be able to announce that. Okay? I'm sorry, Larry, I can't see you, but I think I addressed your question. Yes, Mr. Fensterheim. Well, hold on. Wait a second. I have Mr. Fensterheim. No. Mrs. Trachtenberg, let him speak, okay? Have a seat, and you'll come back at the end, I promise you. Thank you. Have a seat, relax. You're intimidating everybody by standing up.
Okay, Ron?
I'm Randy, but that's okay. That's Ron.
Ron had said a couple
Yes.
minutes ago something about $250,000 being removed from the expansion budget and put into, or I didn't understand it. I wonder if he might readdress it with some clarity. I didn't understand it.
Any temporary facilities. So if we go rent that space for $7,000, $10,000 a month, if we put trailers out here and rent them for $50,000 a month, that is an operational expense. It cannot be capitalized. Therefore, it goes into your dues and you have to pay for that. So one of the things that we're doing, looking at the alternatives, is to trying to keep our members here at their homes, and also to keep the cost down for any temporary facilities that we do, so it doesn't impact you. If we do have to renovate rooms and do some things to repair areas, that would be a capital repair, and we can capitalize that, and it's not going to affect your dues.
However you approach this thing from accounting perspective, this is an expense due solely and only to the expansion that we're doing. Now, handle the bookkeeping how you want, but at the end of the day, it has to be added in and is above the bottom line of
It's already,
the cost
Mr.
of
Fenstein,
our
it's already
expansion.
Mr. Fenstein, it's well in the project. You don't have to worry about anything. It's fully loaded, $11.5 million. We have $1.5 million contingency of that. It's 100% in there. Anything we do is one. There's no below the line, above the line. It's in the line. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. We have John Deere and Toro, yes. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Trachtenberg. Okay. Oh, yes, sir. Hi, David.
Yeah, hi. This may be something that Ron or Michael can answer, but I wanted to get a little more accurate information about delinquencies versus non-performing. Ron indicated delinquencies have come down quite a bit, but I don't think we have a number for the non-performing, other than your comment about Les Jardins having more than a dozen non-performing. do the builder properties, that is to say, who are being renovated within the builders program that we have, fall into either the non-performing or delinquency column? And so we are only getting minimal revenue from those, but we are getting steady revenue within the program.
Two of them that are
I see.
One people, owner of
Is that either one of them in Les Jardins?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's only recently that that is the first investor going to a event other than the club, and we're hoping that if that is successful and other people join us, the club can get our renovated condo and let other people take that risk and do it and grow.
Investor is not necessarily a builder.
Correct. He has a licensed contractor.
Okay, so he did come through the builder program, and he has his 2-year window within which. And how many properties does the club or POA own total?
It's up there.
We own 5 in August. We just picked up another one. We closed on one of the properties that's been sitting there.
5 years.
Yeah, and the gentleman over at the lot line closed on that property. That was a POA settlement. Plus settlement, we're still going after a money settlement judgment on him for that. We've got another one in a deceased that we're going to probably take the property over. We've got another one that we're suing and going to foreclose on, and we have another one that a member has said, I'm done at the end of this year. I'll give you my property, my equity, but I'm gone. So so that number of 5 will be 10. So that's why having this investor come in Les Jardins is very exciting for us. The investor, he pays the builder program. He pays. He gave us the. He bought them from the bank, and the bank paid him. See, this is the one thing that's happening. The fact that
No, the bank paid him. Let's repeat that.
the fact that we've got these banks to settle up and become, they don't quote become members because they won't recognize, but pay the fees, gives them now an incentive to sell. Of the Fannie Mae properties, they had 6. Most of them had been sitting there for 5 to 3 years and just deteriorating. Now that they've had to pay us and pay the fees, they've sold 3 of them in like 6 months. So all these banks are incentivized to sell the units now and not just let them sit there and deteriorate and bring down the other values in the community.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. They're renovating it. They work on it. 3 people. No, it's owned. It's owned by a builder. No, he's actually from St. Andrews, and he's renovating it. He's doing it's a 7,800 square foot house. Oh no, he hasn't been working on it 3 years. No. I can't answer that. I don't want to give you a. Well, the alternative. I know. There's not much we could do except the fact that he's working on it, putting new windows in, renovating every square inch of the house, 7,800 square feet. So there's not. What else what should we do?
It's not part of the builder's program, so we cannot control the pace of his renovation.
Pardon me?
We cannot control the pace of his renovation.
Say it again, Mrs. Eckstein. Yes.
It's his own house.
We'll we'll take a look from a safety perspective, from a safety standpoint, putting up renderings of houses, and that's not a requirement of the community, so if he wanted to do that, he could. But the house sat there for 7 years, that house, 7 years, okay? And now someone's investing, I would venture to say $700,000, maybe even $1 million to get it back. So we're being a little flexible with the guy because we were happy that it's eventually going to look good. It just unfortunately takes time. But I will make sure that from a safety perspective, that no one can get hurt if they walk by and things like that. That's the best I can do. What it looks like from a renovation standpoint. You know, he had to board up the house when it was a hurricane, and he didn't take down some of the boards. I think that's the reality. But I hear you, and I'll do the best I can. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Hi.
My question is somewhat connected to that one. On these investor contractors, is there not a time faction
Yes,
they have to come
there
up
is.
with?
They have the way the program works is they have 24 months, 2 years, to take over the property, renovate the property, do whatever they'd like to the property, and sell the property.
Okay.
If they don't sell it on the 24th month and 1 day, then they owe us the initiation fee. They owe us dues. They're like you and me. They're members. They don't want that because their mission in life is to flip it.
Right.
So, and our mission is to have homes that are renovated, right? That look fresh and new. So, it's a 2-year program. They pay monthly, I don't want to use the word dues. They basically pay the POA fees on a monthly basis. So, the POA is covered from those folks, but they're not paying dues because they're not using the facility.
Right.
They're just builders.
Well, that's understandable.
Yeah. So,
But
to
it's
answer your
like
question,
this
it's...
property that I'm thinking of, which is right next door to me, has been now 9 months. You don't even see, there was a process of 2 weeks where there were workers there.
Right.
Then 2 months go by, and then maybe one vehicle will show up for 2 hours.
Right.
They didn't even take the curtains down in the back.
What's the address, ma'am?
The property is located on Mallorca Crescent. It had been Mrs. Kaufman's home,
Yeah.
which was sold for a tune of $125. So it's not that they overinvested in the price
Right.
of purchasing it.
I mean, the reality is, there's not much we can, if it's in the bill, I don't know if that property's in the, does anybody know if that's in the builders program?
I'm sorry, Steve, I didn't hear you. $125,000 is what they paid.
Oh, that's the, I know, that's the builder,
The
yeah, okay. Yeah, yes, okay. Yeah, you're right, he didn't put a lot of money into the place, and he had trouble selling it. He was trying to sell it. So we went back to him and said, if you want to continue to be in the program, you have to invest more money into the house to get it up to snuff. Now, if you're saying he's not doing any work, then he's not living up to his end of the bargain, and that's a different, and we can look into that.
Well, I mean, just like it's rotted baseboard and so forth. I mean, there's nothing that's been done to it.
Okay, we'll take a look, we'll look into that.
Thank you, I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Yes, hi, Lloyd.
Most people know that when you were discussing 42% are in favor of relocating here.
It was a joke, Lloyd.
I know it was a joke, but just for the purpose of clarification, anybody who wasn't sure, we really don't have any data on how many people were for or against what we should do with fitness. And it's okay, though, whatever the board decides,
Right.
a lot of thought went into it, but we shouldn't give the impression that was an even split if we don't know what it was.
Okay, my apologies to the entire audience, and including you, Lloyd, if I led you astray. I was saying something facetiously, and all I was saying is that we can't agree, at this community, when you have certain controversial things, not everybody agrees. That's just the reality of the community. I could go through 10 things a day that I work on that people don't agree on. Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, before we adjourn, is there any new business that the board would like to bring
Yes,
up?
we're going to vote on I need a motion from the board, please. The motion is that if a board member is on the board, and at that time, he or she puts their home up for sale, that board member will be off the board immediately upon their home going up for sale. Effective with the newly created board in January, February. So, what is I don't have to explain to the community, we're making a vote. Okay. We're taking a vote. Can I get, thank you. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, so carried. Now, to answer your question, why? Yeah, I'm just curious why. Okay. It's not an idea that we came up with on our own. It's quite frankly, we're in the extreme minority where if someone has a home for sale, the reality is there could be, we're not saying there is, but there could be bias towards home discussions when that person is on the board. So to take that person out of the mix of potential bias, all clubs that I've been involved with or know of say to the member, listen, now that you've decided to leave the community, that's okay, but you can't represent the community if you're leaving the community. But your intent is to leave the community, and this board feels like it's not the proper representation for the community. We have just voted on. I'm just letting you know what we voted on. No one on this board does.
Mr. Chairman, I just should say one thing. We voted on the motion, I think. We didn't say effective as of the next election.
Oh, I did. I did say effective.
I'm sorry.
Yes, effective as of the next election. If I didn't, I'll say it again.
Sorry.
That's no problem. Okay. Yes. Say it again. Oh, it depends on the what we're alerting you on. You have a question on it? Go right ahead. Right, the code red.
Comes out to the golfers, to I was on the ranch, I heard all kinds of good things about protecting our property, etc. However, even though I'm not the chairman of the children's committee anymore, this particular weekend, Steve Sager, the BG alert did not go to the community. So my question is, are you cutting us off? No, we are not cutting you off. Okay. What happened is, well, you have to speak on the microphone.
Stand up.
No, I promise. So what happened, the family committee for over a year, right?
I don't get recorded. Oh, great. So, hi, everybody. So, the family committee, Judith, if you could help me with this because you were the chair, had wanted a BG alert for the family, and it took us a long time to figure that out, but we were able to create one. Unfortunately, what we did was we put in all the families, so that has left out the grandparents. So, we will be sending you a link where you can opt in, and then you will be getting those alerts. So, I do apologize. It's an oversight.
Okay.
How about tennis? If you don't play on a team anymore, for instance, you get BG alerted for the tennis.
So right now, we have not done anything separate on that. So we do a BG alert for the golfers because we can separate that by member number. We did something special for the family committee because they asked for it, but we've done nothing special for anybody else.
Okay, so we are, with any old business or new business, this meeting is adjourned. Okay, now hold on, we have the POA. So everybody relax. Okay, and we're going to call that meeting to order. Let's approve the June 20th, 2019 POA minutes, please.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor? So moved, thank you. Ron?
Yeah, that one I can read.
Okay, so
just like the club, the POA continues to move along well. We're at the end of July, we're at 106,000 versus a budget of 74, so we're 32,000 ahead. Last year at this time, we had 66,000, so we're ahead of that. Our reserves are in good shape, and things continue well. In the month of August, we were under budget, we didn't make budget by 8,000, so we're 23,000 ahead of budget still. The majority of that is a $5,000 savings that we had put into the budget. When we did the budget last year at this time, we assumed that we were going to close the power line gate from 11 o'clock at night to 6 a.m. We did not do that. With the efforts of your general manager, Michael Gibson, he worked with the security company and has been able to generate savings starting September 1 through year end of about $5,000. So he's made up those budgeted savings. So as we move forward, we're not going to be $5,000 over budget in security. So that will go away on that. So we're moving along good. As most of you may know or not know, we've had some special board meetings for the club to approve certain board resolutions related to debt. We've waited till this meeting to approve one for the POA. As most of you may know or not know, we're leaving Wells Fargo and going with Bank of America. They gave us the best deal on the financing for the Sports and Wellness Center. In doing so, we have to move our lines of credit. So the POA had a $500,000 line of credit. So now I am asking the board to pass a resolution that the officers of the board and of the POA can sign all the documents to secure a $500,000 line of credit with Bank of America.
May I have a motion for that, please? Second, please. All in favor? Thank you.
We can take it as new business? You tell me, sir.
We can't vote. Why can't we vote on it? Why can't we vote on it? To us, it's a new business. So if you. Right. With all due respect, you've mentioned this now 3 times at 3 different meetings, that same line, which I'm offended by the way. You have. You've said it, that you basically, we haven't given the community any opportunity. I think this board... David, I sit here every single meeting, and everybody in this room has a very, very, very good opportunity to ask questions. I've never caught. If you think I'm cutting off people that are not asking, that I don't let them to ask questions, that's the first. The second thing is, I don't have the obligation at all as a board, David. Just so you know, the board does not have the obligation. This is a board meeting. It's not a public meeting for you to ask. Listen. Okay. Okay. Okay, David, I have answered every single person's question respectfully. I've done it to the. Don't go back to something that I fight for. You were telling me you didn't want to do a question, and people ask questions that I object to. Okay. And I may have offended you, but you were sort of a rookie you're running this board. I see. So I brought it to your attention. Okay. Like it, I'm sorry. But now, you monitor all the people tonight. I don't have a problem with that. I've done it every meeting, by the way. You're making a financial decision in an open meeting that's mandated by Florida statute. Okay. And you're not having any discussion. You're not presenting this to the community if they want to ask questions. You're rubber stamping it like you would in a closed meeting in the back. Okay. We went through through every single financial transaction at our last meeting. If I recall, there was a dozen questions on that, what the rates were, what the terms were, could we pay early? All those that were here know exactly what was discussed. Every single thing was mentioned. There's nothing that's been hidden. We've been as transparent as humanly possible.
And then what the loans were going to be. Oh, Bank of America? Oh, yeah. That's been probably 3 or 4 meetings.
It's just, quite frankly, it's just, yeah, there's no different. It's just changing banks.
Special meeting. It's a 48-hour notice to the board and a posting just, by the thing, and we'll hold a special meeting and approve it. It's just my fault. It's replacing one that
Okay.
My oversight.
It is a replacement.
Okay.
They were doing that with my oversight, and if you feel this is the official.
Okay, just, you know what, Ron, so that David is not feeling like we're not being official and that we're doing something that's not correct, because I don't want to do anything that's not correct at all. We will put it on next month's agenda. We will vote on it. We will notice the community. We already know what we're going to say. And we will give the community an opportunity to ask any questions on that particular subject as you see fit. You weren't at the last board meeting. You weren't, and we discussed everything on banking last meeting. We went through a myriad of banking discussions, and people seemed very pleased at the rates we were getting, if you recall, those who were there, the fact that the term, that we have a prepayment, that we can do $1 million a year with no penalty. All these things ring a bell because we went over these things. So if this is something that we inadvertently didn't put on the agenda, my apologies, we will put it on, and we will vote at the next meeting. Michael and I? Do I physically write it, if you're asking me? What is the question? I don't understand why you even need to know that.
Well, I'm curious why the county
That one would be me on this, because this was a replacing of what we had. It wasn't like the $11 million construction loan. It wasn't like the $5.5 million refi loan. So I thought I could handle it under my financial report. So I don't just like delinquencies, and that isn't on my financial report as a line item, but I handle delinquencies there. So that was my oversight for not having it put on.
Actually, the board disagrees with you. I'm hearing them saying they disagree. But we're doing it because we don't want to have an issue that you feel that we're doing the wrong thing. This board has been extremely transparent, is working their tails off to try to make it happen. We've presented some good information tonight. We're giving you a good sense of how we're moving in the right direction. And I'm not going to sit here and get a sense, because on a technicality, we didn't put something on the agenda that were bad people. I'm sorry, David. I don't buy that. David, I got it, man. I totally got it. And come to every meeting, and I will listen to every question you have.
And getting ready for the next meeting, I will say that this line of credit is used for working capital for the club and everything, and any drawings on it would have to, go through, and we'd need. Currently, we don't see a need ever for the POA to have to borrow on that, because our cash flows are good and everything, but it's one of those things that's nice to have, just like in the club. We've been fortunate in the last several years not to have to borrow on the $2 million line of credit that we have, but we've we've also instituted that one too, again, with leaving Wells and going with Bank of America. Because as soon as we selected Bank of America as the one to have the loan with, we violated our covenants with Wells, and we had to refinance the loan, and we had to move the line of credits over and everything. And we'll be moving all the depository stuff over the next couple of months. So by December, we'll be out of Wells Fargo and into Bank of America. No, they're actually less restrictive, and also Wells was at a LIBOR plus 1.5, and Bank of America is at LIBOR plus 1.4. Rates better, and now covenants they're all pretty much the same. It's a boilerplate line of credit for working capital.
Thing that I'm trying to understand, because we don't have final approvals and so forth on the buildings. We don't have permits for the fitness center. Why do we have to start paying the assessment fee as early as we did?
What we've done with the assessment is, if you remember, the approved cost was $11.5 million. The construction loan is only for up to $11 million. It was agreed that we would pay $500,000 of that out of our capital money. So that's why the assessment was started to handle that. Secondly, in addition, with that additional funds that we have that are coming in, we think we will not, even if we go to the 11.5, that we won't have to borrow 11.5 million. So by starting the assessment early, you're reducing your interest cost and what the overall project's going to cost you as a member on it. Correct. Paying that.
Yeah, the architect's gotten paid a good portion of it. Oh, yeah. Yep. Did you see? Yeah. There's a bunch of folks that are happy to take our money, but they need to get paid for their services. So to get the project moving. Okay, so Ron, is there anything else on your end, or we need to take another? You're saying we need to take another vote?
Well, you're only at finance. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm saying, but you're done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going to hand it to the.
Thank you. That's all I want to know.
I'm not taking that, Mike. I'll move to happy times. We spent the first quarter here really worried about our financial position as far as capital is concerned, because we did not move homes. And I think we saw that through a lot of different clubs. So far, we have 20 closings. We have 6 contracts. We budget on an annual basis of 35 home sales. We feel really good that we will exceed our annual budget process on home sales, and we feel really good. As you can see also, that out of the sellers, we had 9 golf memberships, 8 social, 1 POA, that was us on the condo that we sold, which we were very fortunate, and 2 builder homes. The buyers actually were 5 golf members, 7 social, 2 were banks, 4 builders, and 2 POAs, that's us. Interesting, recently, our trend was that we were selling much more social, and we weren't selling any golf. So we feel really good about that as well. We also had 1 social member that upgraded to golf, and we're hoping with the new program that we have with our sports membership that members will get a chance to taste the golf course, see how great the golf program is, and upgrade to golf.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
I got a little bit more, Randy, just real quick.
You do? Oh.
Yeah, I have 53 listed homes. As we talked about before, we had 63, now we have 53. Out of that, 12% of the properties listed. of Boca Grove properties, 18% were made up of condos, 40% were made up of zero lot line homes, and 42% made up of single-family homes. So our percentage of homes, although we agree that is still a little bit high at 12%, it's going down, and we feel really good about the activity level that we've had.
Okay.
Cleanups.
So on the community cleanup, I know that Darrell's and his team have been working really hard on continuing to get our community in we think in an even more beautiful fashion. And Darrell, I do want to thank you on behalf of the board. You guys do a lot of hard work, heavy lifting of trying to let the members know when they need a little nudge. That so thank you very much for that. Oh, we have.
Yeah, we've been working on it.
Yesterday, very security to move the people who are parking on the ground.
Every time we see it, we phone security and tell them to get there, over there.
Around, they should feel secure within themselves to be able to get the door in. I live on the original house, and down.
Yeah, we know that.
On the grass?
On the grass.
Yeah, we don't mind getting calls of people giving us a nudge as well. I will definitely give security a nudge to make sure they're addressing that.
Thank you. Yes, Larry.
First I've heard, so I'll check what our regulations are. I don't recall anything about that. Yeah, 7 years, yeah. But I'll look into it.
That may be homes that are under construction too, because I think that's mostly what we saw, homes under construction that use wood. More than that?
No, there were numerous homes.
Yeah.
There were numerous.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And Michael, you want to cover the security, traffic?
Yeah, just one thing, and I don't need to really cover traffic, although, we continue to ask people to obey the stop sign program. We have directed our security people to watch and see anybody that runs a stop sign, whether they're in a car or in a golf cart, to let me know, and we're sending letters to those people. So we have had a lot of close calls. The other thing that we did have was we did have a break-in in Frontenac about 10 days ago, 12 days ago. As we mentioned in last month's board meeting, that we have gone forward, all of the committee and the board met out in Frontenac to evaluate the northeast boundary of our community. We are now in contract with a company that will put a camera system there. We believe that's the most vulnerable area. They came in at 8 o'clock at night, so that's an awkward time. As a matter of fact, the trouble that we've had on Frontenac has always been around 8 o'clock, 7:30 at dinner time. So they come in through Estancia. It's very easy to get into the Estancia Park back there, and we are working also with the homeowners of that area to secure their fencing, their lighting, so that they have lights that have motion detection sensors on it, and we're going to do our part as a POA to put cameras back there so that we can see what's happening. So, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
it was mentioned that last year, the board voted to budget in the closing of the power line gate from 10 to 6 a.m. As we got into this year, we decided not to do that. We're reevaluating that. So that's why there's a discrepancy in our budget process for the POA.
But Mrs. Fensterheim, to answer your question, yes, in fact, we are looking at the possibility of doing that under the regime of saving money versus the fact that on the power line gate from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., on average, 12 people a night.
Come through that gate. That's correct.
12. Yep, we're looking at everything. Nothing has been decided. Yes, ma'am. No, we would have double gates. There'll be a gate system where you come through one gate. Oh, totally change it, 100%. No, it's not going to be a free-for-all, I promise. Yes, Dave.
I'd like to make a comment. I was very happy to see finally the 2 do not enters and the keep left on the glazed entrance for those people that tend to want to go in the outway versus the inway. So thank you very much for putting those up. I think it looks terrific the way it is low height. It's fine. You can still have some
Cool.
hours. So
We appreciate you mentioning it.
I know I noticed it right away when it came up, and obviously it's a while now.
Right.
Thank you very much.
I was going to go out there with you. I told you I was.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
And I really look at that. That's done anyone trying to go walk with.
Thank you.
Thank you again for those up.
Pleasure. Yes, Mr. Fenstein?
Yes, Michael, Frontenac, unfortunately, has been a target for many years because it butts that rear wall as well as Escancia. I think the cameras are an excellent idea. They are, in fact, one of the most effective things we can do. But moreover, those cameras should be advertised with related signage to make them even more effective. So I just wanted to call your attention.
We agree with that.
Good idea.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Michael, as far as the speeding and the busting of stop signs, I don't see anything on this agenda indicating that anybody is being fined or called before the board, and I don't recall seeing anything during the entire year. What is the management's policy as far as stopping, other than kindly asking, but stopping or punishing the chronic offenders who continue to bust the stop signs and continue to speed in the community? With what tools are we using to identify those people?
Great question. As you remember, in the beginning of the season, the board approved us going forward and hiring PBSO to come in and monitor our roads. We did that for 6 weeks, and it didn't work, tell you the truth. We didn't find much activity. We spent a lot of money doing that. Last week, I met with security after a number of members have contacted me saying that stop signs have been brutally ignored. I met with security. I told them what we wanted. We wanted to go forward and document every single person that runs a stop sign, and I want to make sure, and Heather is involved in this, I want to make sure that all members that run stop signs that we see get a letter. And if they do it again, they'll get another letter, and we will begin to create, if we need to, a finding process that is written in our documents that we can do. The PBSO program was not effective for us, so obviously we have speed bumps to help control the speed of people, and we are trying to do our best to monitor stop sign abuse.
Have you abandoned the traffic hawk?
You know, we did abandon the traffic cop for a number of reasons of different inaccuracies based on older equipment that we struggled to make exactly accurate, that could be challenged. And we talked to our attorneys about that too, and there was a lot of concern on whether or not members that were fined, would they pay us, and would we be able to prove, if they took us to court, whether or not we were accurate in our process of evaluating their speed.
Okay, and secondly, with regard to security, are you getting complaints from the owners and/or members about the quality of the services that our security agency contractor is providing?
I honestly have not, over the past 4 months, I have not heard a word. I hear a few things about alarm systems that are going off or not responding effectively. I hear a few things that says that they don't want to be called at night when their garage door is open, but I haven't heard any complaints in the last 4 months. Heather, you hear anything? We have not. So if that's happening, people have to speak up. I'm not aware that it is.
Are you expecting these guards that drive around to be proactive? In other words, if they see something, to stop and do something about it, or are they not expected or authorized to do that? For example, parking on the wrong side of the street. We get phone calls if our vendors do that, and we address it.
Correct.
But they don't come to the door and do that as they once did several years ago. More often we get the phone call. Or parking on the street overnight, which is prohibited after 11 p.m., things like that, where they seem not to pay attention to that. Parking on the grass swale. And I'm just wondering how much authority you are giving them to be able to be proactive, these individuals.
Yeah, we've given them full authority, and we expect them to do that. And if we hear that they're not, then we will, as of tomorrow, we will immediately bring that to their attention. But each person that's driving out there, one is a person that has a gun, okay, which doesn't mean we got to scare you, but that means that he's trained more than the people in the gatehouses, and they have authority to make sure that people are obeying the rules that we have, in particular parking rules. And that could be parking on the grass, that could be parking on the wrong side of the street, and it certainly is parking overnight. So I haven't heard of that happening, but we have heard of that. We've been dealing with one particular homeowner that we struggle a little bit with, but other than that, I think they're doing okay until somebody tells me they are not.
Thank you.
1 second. Yes. Okay. He's talking about the strips, the multiple strips. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll take a look at it. I hear what you're saying. Okay, final question, yes?
Final thing is not a question, it's a statement.
Okay.
I live here, there's very little I can participate due to health reasons, but that's another story. But the people that I am exposed to, I have to say, the staff here in this clubhouse are wonderful. And I have to stand up for our security guys because they are terrific. They've got a lot of coverage, and if you wanted to put a light up on the corner of Boca Grove and Island in the Grove, you could make a fortune on finding people to run the stop signs there.
Right.
But, I mean, the security people, I think, are outstanding. They're young people, they're mature people, they're experienced people, and I've lived in a couple of different country club communities, and I have to say, they're down to earth. They're down to earth people, and that's what we need.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody? Okay, that's it? All right.
The prerequisites for
sorry.
these individuals that are in our security system are retired policemen or people that have been in law enforcement. And I just want to mention something that's quite important that we should really address. You go to Boca West, the Polo Club, any club, a vendor cannot come in without identification on his vehicle. And here, it's not enforced.
Okay.
And I
Which is
think
a good thing to look into.
that should be considered.
Well, I think you're right, and we will definitely take a good look at that. Thank you. All right. I'd like to say.
You got to vote on the
We have
board
to vote.
member.
We have to do the same. We got to make a motion again for the POA. Go ahead. Second, please. All in favor? All opposed? So carried. Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.